bits of functionality that will help you get through this session, get through this season, sorry, as easy as it could possibly be. And thank you, John, for pressing record. I had forgotten. Then we'll go over some functionality and what's available in full time. And then it's very heavy on the demo front, where Andy will take you through the key bits of information. And then finally, we'll take you through as well what's coming this season, and how you can impact that as well, because we do take people's suggestions on board and we do roll them out as much as we possibly can do. A couple of introductions before we start. So my name's Sam Yates. I'm the digital engagement lead here at the FA, and I've got a kind of easy role tonight. I'm kind of just hosting this. Andy Stickley is our resident full-time expert, and he will be taking you through all the demos. There's nothing that Andy doesn't know. So if you have any questions, any comments, please do chuck them in the chat. And also, if you do have questions, comments, etc., we also have John and Lee in the chat as well, who will be there to answer your questions as much as we possibly can. We should be able to get through them all. And if we can add to our demo to benefit what you need, we are more than happy to do so. But we are very happy to be here with you this evening. So without further ado, we will go through what is new. So firstly, one of the main ones that came through a suggestion from a couple of leagues, actually 30 odd leagues requested this, was an easier way to update shortcodes, which obviously is used for the setting up of your SMS. And we've improved that. We've improved the Teams page, so you can do more mass functions much quicker, sorry. So that's all in there. We've got new reports and referees and the ability for referees to add their own reports. So if you've got post-match reports you want your referees to fill out, whether it be the hospitality, the state of the pitch, the behaviour, etc., you can add those in full time and your officials can go in and fill those reports in. And across several of our pages, we've improved the filters. Again, all requested from full-time users. So we'll come on to this right at the back end of the session. Andy will mention where to go to add your suggestions and where to feed into our prioritization. So once we've taken all your suggestions in, we'll come back out to everybody and we will ask you which ones you would like first and which ones would be probably less relevant to you and could be pushed back in time in terms of when they are released. A couple of other things just to mention that are happening from this season. So the first one is youth team player names. So that's anyone in a team that's marked under 7 through to under 18 will not display on public pages, but all data, so player names, the stats, etc., will still be accessible to club admins and to league admins via full-time admin. So once you've logged in, you'll still be able to see this information. But on the public pages where somebody has not logged in and we don't know who they are, they will no longer see youth stats and youth names on public pages. This is on the back of a safeguarding review. We review our systems at least once a year, and judging on the climate that we are currently in, we felt it appropriate now was the time to hide youth player stats, where we are trying to make sure that children are safeguarded to the best of our abilities through our systems. Also, parents and carers of players and players themselves, if they are adult players, that is, will be able to go and see their stats in match day. That's been added for youth players for the first time. So again, parents won't lose the ability to see their child's stats, especially if it's 12 plus where the games become competitive. It will just not be available on the public pages of full time. And the second one, which we kind of released and then backed out because it wasn't working as we expected it to, but it will be in place for the start of the season, is something called multi-factor authentication. And that's basically when you try and log in for the first time on any given day, it will ask you to just authenticate you are the person who you're claiming to be, i.e. it will send you an email with a code and you'll input that code and that will let you into the system. That will be done once a day. And that's just, again, to better protect the data within our systems, and so that your data is secure as well, so that we've got that covered. So they're two big things that are changing this year and will be in place. Youth team player stats are hidden now. Multi-factor authentication will be in place from the start of the new season. So for those who are new and haven't used full time that much yet. Maybe it's the first time doing it, or maybe it's you're long in tooth and you've just forgotten the plethora of different options that full time can offer to you. So the first thing mainly is results and stats. It's a great way to collect stats. We're taking away that paper-based trail. There's no longer the need to submit things like match cards through to your league committees from a club's perspective, and the system will automatically collate your results and stats. We obviously have our league and fixture generator, which Andy will demo, which is massive. Hopefully it's a massive time saver. We've got leagues in this country now with well over 1,000 teams, and being able to generate fixtures for all of those is a hell of a task. So being able to do a lot of that heavy lifting in the system and letting the system automatically do that for you, hopefully is a huge time saver. We also have our league website /score centre. That's where a parent or a player can go and view the league tables. If it's competitive football, they can go and view fixtures. That will still remain post this new season. You can still see your fixtures online at any time, and those tables can update live if you have that setting turned on. And finally, you've got the manage admins and officials. So you can define what a club admin or a team admin can log in and do, whether that be just add match stats, whether it be update their venue if they've got two. So if you've got like a winter venue, a grass pitch, but they also have a backup 3G, and you let them go and change the venue, that's completely down to you. We're trying to give you options to make your lives easier. And if you're thinking, well, that won't help me, you can turn it off. You're thinking, yes, it will help me, you can go and use it to your heart's content. So we've got all those. And the final thing really is match day. And Andy will take you through in the demonstration how to set up full time to best suit you as a league for your team managers to go and use match day. And before I can talk about match day, I'm going to let the Teesside Junior Football Alliance up in the Northeast. We went and visited them over the course of last season, because actually 99.9% of their team admins all submit their match returns through match day. So they've got a massive usage, and they've seen their fines drop off in terms of people not putting in the correct data, if it's the score, the stats, whatever it might be. They've managed to see all that decline. And they also, what they'll talk to you about in this little video, it's only 2 minutes long, but they'll also say in there that it's improved the efficiency of the league. So in days gone by where it's taken 2, 3, 4 days for all the tables to have updated, it's now taking an hour or 2 hours. It's almost instant in the majority of cases. So I'll stop talking and let Kev and the Teesside Junior Alliance do the talking about how they use match day within their league.
The best thing about the Matchday app, the reduction in paper, the information that goes to all parents, all coaches, all teams and clubs, sums it all up into one.
Best feature would be the directions to the club where we're playing. A little map, the postcode and the address are all the information's there.
You should be using it already, because it's been out 3 seasons out. Anyone that's not using it is missing a trick like this. It needs to be used across the board, in my opinion.
The Football League runs extremely well. Yeah, we have just over 1,000 teams that play within this league. We tend to get around about 350 to 400 games played on a basis.
So with the app being free as well, every parent can use it. There's no fees involved. I've been using it for roughly 3 years, and it's a good way of the parents to have a reminder. It takes, a minute to use, and it plans my weekend.
With our previous club, all the information that was passed down to the parents and grandparents was on WhatsApp, and I just find this process a lot easier and a lot more concise.
Even the kids like to have a look at the app to see where they are in league tables. They can see results, they can see fixtures, they know where they're going to be.
Everything's in one place, so parents can't miss a thing, really. I can do it when I go home, and I can do it in my own time, and I don't have to fill forms out before I leave a match.
No more paper team sheets coming through. Everything's all on the system.
There's a lot to do on match days, setting up and things like that. It's just one less hassle to do without, and it's just really easy and a no-brainer.
The fact that the FA have brought in an app that talks into when we do play registrations from the league, they automatically update into the app. When we do fixtures, it automatically updates into a full-time system. So I would recommend all leagues to use this app.
It makes Sunday football and Saturday football a lot easier.
It's really simple, really easy to use, and everyone should embrace the technology.
Yeah, and any parent who's thinking about whether they should use it, I would certainly recommend it. I find it very, very useful.
There's no other app on the market that can do what this app is doing.
So that was the Teesside Junior Football Alliance and how they use match day. Apologies if it started to stop and stutter in places, but teams decided that it was about to die on me. So I had to just quickly try and save everything from switching off. Thankfully we did. We got to the end. So what we're going to do now, we'll split our demonstrations into three separate sections. So again, if you come through this and you've got any questions, please do ask in the chat and we'll come back to them in between each of the three sections of demo. So in this first one, Andy's going to take you through the integration from Competition Portal, league options and making sure you're set up, and that includes that setup for match day, editing venues on the venue page, and finally setting your default season. So Andy, I'll hand over to you for your first demonstration.
Thanks, Sam. So I'll just share my screen. If you could just give me a thumbs up, Sam, when this comes through.
Got you.
Cheers, mate. All right, so as Sam said, the first bit we'll do is take you through integration. Now, for those that don't know, integration is effectively when we link your full-time site to the competitions portal. So it pulls through all your divisions, cups, teams allocated to those divisions, cups, team officials, and all your player registrations. So ideally, to request integration, we would ask you to first go through your county FA just so they can do a sense check of your competition portal to make sure everything's set up correctly. But at this time of year, it can be a little bit with some of the bigger county FAs, it might take a little bit of time coming back. So if you do wish to request this yourself, take that little bit of a gamble. If you come onto our grassroots technology pages, which I'll cover again later, go to full time, click on the request and integration tab there, and then it's the integration request form. That will populate a form. Just fill all the details in on there. That will come through to us, and then we'll let you know when that's been done. So that is quite simple. That'll pull all the information through. So going into full time itself, one of the other changes this year is we have removed the ability to log in with a username. So it's all now done through email and password, which is the same email and password that you use for competitions portal. Just as league officials, because that doesn't come through integration, and if you did still use the username access function, you may need to just come through to us, submit a ticket through to us just to get that set up correctly for you, or get one of your other league admins to do that for you, because it does have to link through and set you up correctly. So just logging in, obviously we get the team page, so I can make sure I'm on the league I'm using for this one. Otherwise, I could cause all sorts of damage to my other leagues. So the first options and getting yourself set up is all done under the setup tab. Numerous league options from here. So the first bit is effectively what you allow your team admins to do, and this would also be the big link to what they can do within the Matchday app. So can they change the status of a fixture in terms of changing it from confirmed to be confirmed, managing the venues for the team, so can they add new venues and change the venues that the teams play at, just one about including postponed fixtures, and then some options where you can select home team and what the away team can do. Now the away team can't change the fixture time and they can't change the venue, but both teams can change the date of the fixture and they can change the fixture date status, which is where it changes from normal, postponed, abandoned, etc. Now that will effectively again affect what they can and can't do within the Matchday app. Just a few of the quick ones about how it approves and locks results and stats you come through. Generally speaking, a lot of leagues now use this auto approve scores. So what that would do is as soon as a score comes through for a result via the Matchday app, preferably, or the SMS messaging service, as soon as that score comes through and is updated by a team admin, it will show on the public pages for under 12s and above, and also update the league table. All that means then is if there is any conflicts or one team puts in one result and one team's put another, you just need to manage those. But the sliders scale all the way down to you having to manually approve each and every score, which means that it won't update any public pages until you as a league official or another one of your colleagues has actually gone into the system and approved that result. Again, completely up to you. But generally speaking, a lot of leagues now use that auto approve and then just deal with any issues, because let's face it, those teams and clubs out there will soon tell you if something is not showing correctly, and if it's gone down that they've lost a game and they should be showing as having won that game. They're not backwards in coming forwards with that type of information for you. Another key one with this is defining the roles and security within your league. So that option there, click on the double click on that, and it comes up with all the roles that are currently within full time. So you can set up a lot of what your league administrators can do and different things. But the key one that you'll probably be looking at is the team administrator. So we've got default security settings, which is what we believe a lot of leagues will use. But if you click on override there, if you've not changed any, or just edit if some have already been changed, and it just comes up with a list of things that you can allow that relevant role to do or not to do. So if it has got a tick, it will allow them to update that information. So for example, we'll come on later to SMS and result service. If that box is ticked, it will allow your team admins, so team manager or team coach, to log into full time and be able to change who gets that text message. Now again, that could be quite handy if a manager is going away. Normally goes through to him or her. They're going away for a weekend, they can quickly come in and change who is getting that SMS message, because it is a maximum of 2 per team only. Or you can turn it off so that they have to ask you to change that for you. And likewise, a number of other options in there. Just coming back out of that. Just keep on taps about any options you want to do with fixtures, about attendances. Another one that was introduced this time last year is County Cup fixtures automatically putting through for integrated leagues, provided you have got that county set up in your affiliation pages. It will automatically pull those County Cup fixtures through to your league for teams that are involved, providing the County FA uses full time for their competitions as well. So that just makes it a little bit easier to spot those fixtures, especially when they get postponed on a Sunday and you're not sure if it's going to be the following Sunday or 2 weeks after the rearranged match gets played. As soon as the County FA have updated it on their side, it will come through to you as well. A couple of match officials, about whether you have fourth officials, etc. And a couple of these are just about with players before we probably did integrations properly, about managing suspensions and where they will show if you do add them. Bearing in mind that suspensions won't pull through automatically, so you do need to manage them yourselves. And another key one at the bottom here is the auto send of the team admin login invites. So for integrated leagues, as I said, it will pull across all of those team admins. So anyone listed as manager, assistant manager, coach or assistant coach, or team secretary in club portal, so therefore shown in competition portal, it will pull them through to full time. But what it won't do, unless this box is ticked, is they can't get into the admin area unless they've received an invite from the system. And we will cover that, managing that a little bit later again. But from this page, you can actually ask full time to send that automatically. As soon as the league is integrated, they will go out to all the existing ones. And then if any are added after that integration, so partway through a season, etc., as soon as they're added into club portal by the club, it will pull through to full time and automatically send them that invite. Otherwise, you're going to have to go in and manage that yourselves. So again, it's whether we're happy for everyone to have admin access, it's a team official, or whether you want to control that a little bit more tightly as a league and maybe only have a team manager and team secretary, for example, being able to go into the system and make changes. And again, that will affect what people can do within Matchday, because only those that have got admin access to full time as a team official will be able to make those changes within the Matchday app as well. Otherwise, we'll have a view only functionality similar to that as a parent. As Sam said, we've made a few changes to our venues pages. So venues as normal will come under setup and venues at the bottom there. Now this page hasn't changed. So what you need to do is any venue that needs adding that isn't already within your league, you will need to create a new venue just by clicking on create new in the top corner. Let's put a postcode in here, search through Pitch Finder, and hopefully this will work. It will come up with a quick map of that address and then come up with these venues. So you just then need to quickly through which venues they are. So let's click that one. Balls on, it's got 5 grass pitch. You can either look for a bit more information on that, or you can select that site and it will then pull through into the venues pages. So if I scroll all the way down here, it will show it's not for this season yet. So it's not assigned to a team effectively, but it will then show on these pages. I'll go down there. See there it is. Poolsland is on there, and as you can see that is linked because it has been found through Pitch Finder. But all these venues here that are not linked, providing they have got an address next to them, if you click select ground, you can effectively go through that process again. So you would then just need to put a postcode in that box there, and then select the venue, and it will link that venue to Pitch Finder, which will pull through all that information. If you do find at any point you've got 2 pitches that are exactly the same, but for some reason have been added twice, you can merge them just by merging the 2 venues into one venue, and just select whichever venues it is from here. Let's just set them too. It'll just tell you what pitches they are and what teams you usually play on, and just to double check, and then you can just process that merge. And the second part of that now is, like we said, it's now much easier to update the venues for a team in the system. So before you used to have to come to the teams page, you then select your division, you used to have to click on edit and then add the venue there. What we have now added this season is the edit venues button there. So you find the division, and then effectively it will list all the teams in that division, the venue or venues that they've currently got there, the priority order that they use those venues. You have the ability to remove a venue, so if you just tick the box there and then click on update at the bottom, it will remove that venue from that team, or you can add another venue into them, again just by selecting the option there and then just clicking on update, and then it comes into the list of venues that they can play at. So obviously that should work a lot easier for you instead of having to go through a different functionality of editing the team and then selecting a venue at the bottom. Just make that a little bit quicker. And the final bit on this part is just about the seasons. So under setup again in seasons, when we integrate a league, you have the option to make defaults. So when we first integrate a season for you, it will still stay on last season until you make the changes here. That's just to make sure that if you want to set up your fixtures, etc., before they go on the public pages, or before anyone can actually see anything in terms of divisions, etc., it's not showing. And you can also click it, and it will also come through as hidden for you as well. So this will be the first page that you get. So this 24-25 season at the bottom, it will be hidden, and you won't be able to make it default. So to make it default, which just means it comes up as the first option for yourself when you log in, and the teams log in, you just need to unhide the season and then click on the blue option to make it the default. And that means every time that you log into the admin section or anyone goes onto the public pages, it will show the 24-25 season first. So that's it for the first section, I believe, Sam. So it's just if we've got any questions, anything else we need to cover before moving on.
Lovely, lovely. We have had a couple, and I'll just answer them to give you a chance to get your breath back. So firstly, I'll just let Colin in as well. So first question we had in was, can managers still see player stats? So the answer to that is yes. They can access that via the full-time login. If they go into the admin section, they can still view it, and they can also still view it in Matchday as well. The next question from the Doncaster Youth League, great to see you guys here. It was around deregistered players were still showing in Matchday and full-time, once they'd been made or deregistered in competition portal. Now that won't happen in Matchday anymore. Matchday is based off the competition portal. Full-time is transitioning this season. To try and put this in the most simple way, at the moment, Full-time is half looking at the competition portal, half looking at whole game system, which is where obviously your league sanction occurs. Now that will change over the course of the next season and will improve our data quality and speed of data transferring from one system to the other one. So that is happening, but Matchday will be better on that front, as you'll see from the off this season. The next question was around the venue integration. I think Andy asked that question. So it is the same as last year for this season. We are still working on the integration, as I just mentioned, between the competition portal, club portal, and and Full-time. So they will come across. But as Andy just demoed, we have made it easier to assign venues, should I say? But yes, that over the coming months and over the next year or so, that integration will become better, and we want to get to a point where a club can put in their venues. You just say, yeah, that's the right one, or no. You can put your own in, but have that autonomy in there for a club if you wish them to have it. So that is due to come over the next couple of seasons or so. I'm just checking. I've missed a couple of questions whilst I've been talking. I want to make sure that we get all of them answered. So Alan asked, access to competition portal only through whole game system. You can go direct. It's just competitions.thefa.com. And that's the same for clubs there. Club portal is clubs.thefa.com. And one thing that will come next season is referees, and they are referees.thefa.com. So hopefully that's a fairly standard way of finding your way around things. Once you've logged into one, you don't have to log into the rest. It will just automatically push you straight in. As a league, you don't have access to Matchday. But your clubs automatically have access to it, regardless of whether you want them to or not. If your county FA have suggested that you shouldn't or warned you against it, I would highly recommend speaking to them again and asking them just to walk you through the functionality from a club perspective, and they can give you access to a test club, so you can have a play around with it, have a see of the functionality that's on offer. Within Matchday. Yes, it's had its problems in the past, but it's changed over the past year or so with a lot of new, what we've called brilliant basics, just the basics of the app working as you'd expect it and quickly, have been worked on for the past season. So again, we'll be posting some more demonstrations and some more content onto our YouTube channel, which we're pointing towards at the end, but that will give you a full walkthrough of the app and the functionality of it. So have a look at that when you once that comes out as well. In terms of adding stats in Matchday, a club can add and a team can add all their stats, whether that's goals, subs, kit washes, bizarrely is in there, yellow cards, red cards, etc. can all be put in through Matchday and feed through. And the last one I think I'll pick up from Doncaster before I go back to Andy for the next part of the demo was around the Matchday submit match returns didn't always work. So we've changed how that happens. So it should make it so much simpler. So in the past, you had to jump between two places for a club or a team to submit their match reports through. Now it's only one place, and you also have warning signs everywhere if something is not complete. So we've completely changed the match return flow, as we would call it, so that a club cannot physically miss out on it. And it also shows a club once they've submitted when it's hit full time, so that they can't miss it. They know exactly when it's hit and when it's landed. So hopefully that should help. But again, if you need a walkthrough, your local county FA can show you the whole functionality from start to finish, and hopefully allay any fears you may have from previous usage of the system and of the app. And hopefully you see that it's in a much better place, much easier place to use now, and it's much better for your club admins and team admins when it comes to completing their Matchday admin. Perfect. So Andy, we're now going to come back to you. This next demo is around people and the setup and email verification, primary contacts and SMS. So I'll hand straight back over to yourself.
Thanks, Sam. So I'll just come off screen. Just because it just happened to me myself then, if for any reason you find that these options disappear at the top of the screen, that is likely to be because at the moment the main priority division, it's ranked as number 1, he's only got one team in there or is inactive. So you just need to come in to set up teams this season and move on to a league that's got more than one. So if these have disappeared, it's just down to the order in which you've got your divisions and which one is currently the system is selected to. So just going to set up teams this season and make the priority one that's got something. There's an article on the knowledge base again around that that will help you. So as Sam said, just moving on to a bit more of the functionality around notifications. So the first bit is the email verification. So this is the emails that come out on a weekly basis or whenever any changes are made that can go out to certain people, and you can select who they go out to. So it's an email, notifications, and on this page you can choose who gets them and who doesn't. So first of all, you've got to make sure that's ticked, because if that's not ticked, nothing will be sent out to anyone. Disabled, so once that's enabled, the notifications will go out as per these requests. You can include or exclude match official contact details in those notifications as well. And then you've got your league admin, player, referee, secretary, team admin on which go out. So fixture notification, if that's ticked, anytime there's a change to a fixture, whether it's change of date, change of time, change of venue, or change of status, so it becomes postponed, a notification will be sent out. And the referee notification column is if there's any changes to referees or any referees appointed to a fixture. And then for league admin, as I said earlier, you can link it up with the county cups now. So you can tick a box. So if a county cup gets changed by the county FA you're in, or one of the county FAs if you're linked to more than one, if you tick that box, every time there's a change in there, it will ping an email to anyone that's got league admin rights. Just to give you that little bit of more certainty, especially again for those postponed ones when they get rearranged. I think I did spot a question in chat which I don't think we covered. At the moment, full-time is still team admin based, so if it's got a club secretary role or club chairman, if they want to have access to full-time, they do still need to have that team secretary role added for each team as well. I know it's slightly annoying. I was with a club when I was assigned to 30 teams previously, but that is the way full-time's been built. It's on that team admin basis. So if they do want to have these notifications as a club secretary or another role, they would need to be added as a team secretary as well still. Just in notification settings, so you can just change what goes on the footer. A lot of our leagues don't really use that as much. You can send out auto reminders, so if for any reason the system doesn't quite work and doesn't send them out automatically, you can push them to either a fixture group or a club for how many days you wish. And you can also set them out to go out on a weekly basis. So if clubs aren't getting them on a Monday and they're used to, just check this page. So if I select Monday there, say 1700, so 70 o'clock and number of days, so number 7. So what that would do is on Monday at 5 o'clock, give or take a few minutes, because depending on the size of your league, it might take a while for them to be sent out. So it might be 5 past 5 by the time some team admin to get them. It will send them out a reminder of any fixtures they've got and all the details, contact details for the opposition for the next 7 days. So again, just gives them that prompt to do the match confirmation as per scorey and score. To confirm all those details, and then you just need to click update and that will go out. I'm not going to do that because I think otherwise Sam will kill me, because we'll all get constant emails from this league. But the key part of this one is this email address verification. So what we've got is a lot of this will be team admins. So again, if a team administrator, a team manager says they're not getting the notification emails, if you just come onto this page, so again, email address verification, click on unverified and team admin. If their name is on this list, so I'm going to pick on Nathan here, it would mean that effectively the verification email has not been sent to him. So if you click on that box there, click on update at the bottom, click on send. That will then send him an email with a link in that to ask him to click on the link to verify their email address. What we've had in the past is a lot of people thought that was spam, so didn't click on it because obviously we're told not to click on links and emails that we're not expecting. But we have tidied the display of that email up so it looks a bit, with all our branding, etc., and makes it a little bit clearer. It is coming from our system and what it's for. If I can't see any on here, but if there's any numbers in this column here, so for example, if it says 4 in there next to Jill, it means that the email has been sent to Jill 4 times already, and they just haven't clicked on that link. So it might be worth mentioning them. Send it again and just mention you've got to click on that. We've also added the box up here, so you can click on that box, scroll down to the bottom, hit send, and it will send to anyone that's unverified. So it might just be worth doing that a couple of weeks before the season starts again, just to make sure you get in everyone that's come through new for this season. Because if they haven't clicked on that verification email and the link, they will not get the notifications, and they will be coming to you or coming to us or coming to the county FAs saying they're not getting a notification email, and everyone else in their team is, and they're the manager and they should be getting them. So that's a quick point of that. The other part of the email notifications is that for each team it will give the primary contact. So for a lot of teams that will be either the team manager or team secretary, but if that is showing incorrectly, it can come into people, click on primary contacts, can't go into that one, it shows a few more teams. And from a league perspective, you will see every team within that division. And all it means is that if it's going to match day manager 8, that email, and it's providing those details on the email, but Matt Collins or someone comes to you, or Rebecca Williams comes to you and says it should be them that are showing on that email, you just need to tick that box, untick that other one, and then click on update. You can only have one person showing, so it will only let you select one person per team. But that is a common thing. If that information is shown incorrectly, just check that. Also, under that scenario I showed you earlier, under setup and the roles, where you could assign different privileges to different people, you can set it so that teams can come in and do this themselves. But obviously, when they come in, they will only see their particular team. So if it's Matt Collins coming in, he will only see these 4. You will not see all the details for every other team. So it will block them out. It's only league admins that can see every team in the league. But again, that's for you as a league to control. You can either say they can do that or they can't do that. And finally, for this bit, the SMS. So if you go onto SMS messages and teams, again, use this one because I know there's a lot of teams in here. This will be where you as a league can assign the people that will receive the text messages, which will come out about 15 minutes after the kickoff time that's on the system, for the teams to reply to with the result when the match is finished. Now, again, you can either control this as a league on your own, or again, under those settings, you can allow the current team admins to log into full time. This bit has to be done through full time match day, and they can see, again, they'll only just see their own team, but they will be able to make those changes. So, for example, if it's Iconic Arch Athletics and we want to add someone in for them, it will provide a name for each of them, and it will show a mobile number if there is not one present. If there's no mobile number on the system for them, or it's not come through to full time correctly, it will not give you the option to update that. If you do select one that is correct and there's a mobile number there, this red button here, okay, create, and then that name and the mobile number will show next to that team. And I don't think there was another one here, but if you do select another one, you can have 2 showing. If for any reason someone leaves or no longer wishes to receive that SMS message, or there's 4 people involved in the team and they've changed to 2 people that want to see it, if you just click on the person's name, click delete. Now that won't delete them completely from the system, it will just delete them from the SMS messaging, and then you can go in and add another person into there. And like I say, as a league, you can do this for every team yourselves, or you can give the privileges to the team admins to come in and do their own as well, which will help a little bit with the admin burden, especially prior to the season starting. So I think that's that part covered. Sam, if we've got anything more questions to cover.
Perfect, thanks Andy. So there's a couple of questions I'm going to cover and I'm going to come back to you just because I'm conscious of time. I know you've got the fixtures yet to come and that's a big one to get through. So Alan asked around a league colleague of himself had 2 different logins to try and split league and club admin. Now obviously that's no longer possible. You have to log in using your one and only FA login, but you can have notifications set up to go to different emails. So if he has a club email address or an email address for his club administration and one for his league, he can set that up quite nicely. And Andy, I don't know if you can just show quickly how that goes ahead. There you go. Correspondence email. So if you go into people, into the person, and then you can just update the correspondence email. Is that right?
Yes, you can either go people, list people, and go through the roles, especially if it's a league admin, or you can just do a search, type the name in, and it'll bring that up, and you just had a correspondence address and update. Fabulous,
perfect. Thank you so much. So yes, you can. It's one login, but you can still split email addresses for notifications, etc. And the other one was from Chris. Great to see you on the call, Chris, and great to speak to you the other day. Around the club badge syncing from the club portal across to full time. That's not here for this season, but it is our intention to have it as soon as we possibly can. As I mentioned just on the last questions, we are trying to get to a point where full time completely syncs from the new England portal, England football portals. It's not there just yet. We're almost there. I think we've got about 15% still in whole game system. Once that's away, we can start to be able to upload those photos on your behalf. But as Andy's showing on screen now, you can still add them yourself if you want to. I know it's a bit of a pain to do that for a league of your size, but hopefully in next season, you'll have the simplicity of just seeing what they've uploaded into the into club portal, which will hopefully make your life a little bit easier. But they're the 2 I'm going to pick up on Sticko, and we're going to come straight back to you now when we go through the advanced fixtures scheduler.
Thanks, Sam. So conscious of time again and trying to get you all the way at 7:30 or as close to as we can. So a little bit of a whistle-stop tour. So the advanced scheduler effectively will do the fixtures for your whole league or division or division groups if you want to set them up. So it's important that you actually get that information in as soon as you can. So especially the venue information, which is a big part of how the event scheduler works, and making sure that the venues assigned to teams are as correct as they can be. So under fixtures, if you go on to scheduling and rescheduling, click on the advanced scheduler. For some reason you have to click on this twice, don't ask me why. So we just take you through a number of pages, which hopefully are relatively self-explanatory as well, but we'll just take you through them quickly. So rest hours is the minimum amount of hours between fixtures for a team. So for example, we've got 48 hours in there. So if they play at 11 AM on a Sunday, it won't automatically schedule them in for a fixture until at least 11 o'clock on a Tuesday. And it will show up as a conflict on their homepage if by some chance you schedule a fixture in within those 48 hours. It's just a little warning. It won't do it automatically, so it won't do that. But if you do put it in, it will also show a warning for you. A couple of things on conflicts, which you can use if you want to, and there's a couple of explanations on that. So we've got 3 divisions set up within this league. Tells you how many teams are in that division, just as a quick reference. Now, the number of times this is a common one that we get through at the moment, so it's always defaulted to 2. Which means each team in that division will play each other home and away, and that'll be it. But for example, if you've got a small division of say 8 teams and you want them to play each other 3 times, if you just change that to 3, that will then, the system will then automatically generate a 3rd fixture for each team. That will be based on as close as it can to having a even split. But so if you've got 8 teams, each team will have either 4 home and 3 away, or 3 home and 4 away. Obviously, it can't be completely even, but it will make sure that no team has 5 at home and 2 away, for example. So it will split it up for you in that way. And this column here is effectively how many days before they play each other. So it's currently set up 21 days, and that's the default, but you can change that. So effectively what that would do is the system won't schedule a team to play the same team home and then the same team again away within 21 days. Again, you can override that into fixtures as the season goes on, especially as we get into May and we've had the bad winter like we did last season, and unfortunately it's the only 2 games those 2 teams have got. But again, it will just show up on the conflicts list on the homepage. So once you made any changes to that page you wish, just click on update, click on next step, and it will just take you to the next page on there, which is the time slots. So what this will do is create repeating time slots. So first, so I'm just going to delete all of them that we've got at the moment, just so we can start from scratch. So for example, your season starts on the 1st of September, which is a Sunday, and you can play up to the 31st of May. Obviously, you can change these dates depending on what your start date is and what your end date is, but we'll go with them for the demo. These are the primary time slots. So these are the time slots that should be filled before any others, and we're not going to play at 7 o'clock on a Sunday evening, because I don't know anyone that would want to do that. Kick off at 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning, and conflict range before and after. So effectively it's just making sure that they're not having 2 games again outside that 24-hour period. So if I click on create, that will then create a game for all of those dates and all the way through. Not quite sure that's in 1st September, but never mind. I'll pick that up later. So effectively everything else. Now what you might want to do at this stage is if you don't play over Christmas, for example, you don't want that 29th of December time slot to stay in. So if you just delete that time slot, it will take it out and we'll make sure you've got no fixtures then. And maybe Easter Sunday, I don't know when it is this year, but let's just say it's the 13th of April. You can just take that time slot out, and that's what it would do then. Now, if you wish to create secondary time slots, you can do. But what these will be is, for example, if you say that they can play on a Wednesday evening if they've got no Sundays available. If you create all of those, again, they will just come in, but it will always show as secondary on here. So the system will only use those time slots, only play on those Wednesdays if it cannot find a fixture for that, if it cannot find a Sunday for that fixture. So you can just put them in there. On top of that, if you don't have secondary time slots, but maybe have bank holiday fixtures, maybe you play on the 26th of December. You like to have a Boxing Day fixture, you can add that fixture in and make it slightly later because it's Boxing Day. Put it as a primary time slot because you want them in. We just put that one in, and then that will just flag it into the push that one in into the 26th of December down here. Well, it hasn't done that because you've already got one on 25th of December and you've got that conflict of 24 hours, so that's worked quite well. Oh no, it was 25th I picked, sorry. Yeah, so for the secondary time slot. So it's deliberately block that from coming in because you've got that conflict hours of 24. But that would normally go in there. So once you've selected all your time slots, if you click on next step again, it will come into your availability. Now there's 2 sections to this, and it is done on a division basis. So the county FA is the division we've got, is the big one. Now once the fixtures have been generated, we've got these colour coded here. So if it's green, if it's got a green box, it means they've already got a fixture. If it's yellow and you've set up that you want the county cups to be integrated through, it'll be amber. And if there's a conflict, so they've got 2 fixtures on that date, it will show up as red. But at the moment, there's no colour code in there because we've got no fixtures. But what we can do on this page from here is, if you allow closed dates, for example, you get them all in prior to the season, and we've got Iconic Arch Bees here that's saying they can't play on the 11th of September. If you just tick that box there, the system will acknowledge that and it will not give them a fixture on that date. So you can pick as many as you like. You can select all, so we don't want no teams available on the 4th of September. We can click select all there, and when we click update, and it refreshes, it's put a box in all of them. Or if you just want to clear all of them, you just click on clear all, update, and it clears them all back out again. So that's teams, but we've also got a secondary option on here of venues. So this will show the venues that are used in that division. It doesn't show the teams that play on it. It will just show the venue. So you do need to do a bit of manual matching there. But if the team that plays the iconic arch of that is 11 come to you and say, council have put on a festival that day, or the party in the park, or anything else, you can put a tick in that box, close that venue, and the system will not allocate a fixture to that venue on that date. So any teams that are assigned to that venue, the system will try its best to give them an away fixture or no fixture at all, but it will not give them a home fixture. So you could do that. You need to do that for each division if you wish to do so, or if you're not, you can just skip past it, depending on how your league is set up. And again, once you've done that for all the divisions that you need to, just click on next step. And this is where you can put in any constraints. So you've got the cannot play and must play. So you can do this by division. So these two teams, just change it to 2 teams. We're going to say cannot play on the opening game of the season. For whatever reason, we don't want them playing on that date. So create that there. And what that will do is the system will not match those 2 up. Its preference will be that if it can't do anything else, those 2 teams will just not have a fixture. But it will not match those 2 up. And again, must play we can put in. So for example, if these 2 teams have to play on a particular day, maybe you have done those bank holidays. So we're going to put in, they're going to play on Christmas Day, because we've got that as a secondary time slot. So they must play on Christmas Day or Boxing Day, depending on what you've done. If you create that and create all that through for your bank holiday fixtures, they will automatically go into the scheduler for you. So once you've set all them up again, click on next step. This will then just come to you to review and submit. So it asks you, do you want the system to do it for every division? So this is the part where you select if you only wanted to do certain divisions. So you're not ready to do your under 9s to under 11s because they're development groups. But your under 12s and under 18s you want to get done and released, the competitive age groups. You can just select those the divisions that apply to them, tick the box, and it will just work on those. Or you can tick all 3 and it will work that way. What I will say about that point, though, is if you only select under 12s to under 18s, not there will be many pitch shares, but if they share a pitch with an under 7s or under 8s team, it won't take into account any venue shares at that point, because it's not generating fixtures for those younger age groups. But it depends on how you wish to do your fixtures, but you can select which divisions you want to do. Do you want to include county cups? Tick that box if you want it to make sure that it doesn't conflict with any county cups that have already been scheduled. Obviously, it doesn't know the conference date, so if they're not on the system already, it won't do anything. So this is probably a bit more useful during the season when you're using it to do rescheduling. Which time you want to start from? So we don't really want it to start on that Wednesday the 4th because we want to start on the Sunday. So you select your date you want it to start from. And then you've got 4 options. And effectively, fast means it's not really going to check much of what you've put in. So you've probably spent all that time for no main reason. To full, where it's going to keep on going through solutions until it finds the best possible one it can. So it'll probably schedule the fixtures 3 or 4 times, compare one to each other and say, actually, that's the best one. That's one I'm going to put forward in the background. But obviously, because it's doing that, that will take longer. So at this stage of the season, especially for our large leagues, if you're using full and got a lot of information you've put in, you've got a lot of teams, a lot of divisions, you're probably looking at that would run close to or near on probably 12 to possibly 24 hours to run through, just because it's got a lot going through. And obviously the fast will probably come through quite quickly because you're not asking it to do anything. And then you've got another 4 options which you can input here. To avoid using secondary time slots if at all possible. Schedule fixtures ASAP. So when you're doing this full, you want it to try and get all the fixtures in before the end of February and not do any March, April and May. So you've got maximum fixtures every week. So division of 12, you're trying to get out 6 fixtures from the very first week instead of it just saying, oh, well, 4 will do. It's the best I can think of. So I'm not going to bother checking it again. And then just one's about consecutive playing times here. You don't have to fill all these boxes in. So if those 2 are not important to you, you can just put them 2 in. and that's absolutely fine. And then you just click on review. It will tell you that the review is successful and no problems were found. What it will do is, for example, if you're doing it as a reschedule later in the season, you've got all your time slots in, but one team's got 10 games left and you've only got 4 weeks to play them in, so you've only got 4 Sundays and 4 Wednesdays. It'll come through saying review complete, and it'll come up red saying such and such a team has got insufficient time slots available. So you probably need to take a couple of them out and then review them and do them manually. Put in the email address that you want an email to come to when you receive an email. So it's got my work one in there, but if I'm doing it for one of my leagues, I may wish it to go to my league email address, so you can just manually update that in there as well, similar to correspondence address, and then click on schedule. And it will come into that. Again, quickly, an enhancement this year is when you get into this page and you under fixtures, event schedule again, and you've got scheduled outcomes. The list there, it would normally used to be requested and everything else, but you used to have to wait for that to finish. If you figured out then, or a team changed, or you needed to get an extra team in, or something came in and you need changing, you had to wait for that to finish, even if, whether it was 12 hours, 17 hours, but you had information. Now you had to wait for it to finish. We now have this delete option here for you yourselves as league admins. If you click on that, it will give you a confirmation pop-up. If you confirm delete, it will delete that scheduler, and then you can go through the process again. But it will remember what you've already put in, but you can then make any of the changes that you've just been alerted to. So you just haven't got to wait for that. So that's a bit of a whistle-stop tour. So hopefully that's take you through. Have we got anything on that, Sam?
We've had just a couple of questions in, so hopefully we should finish on time here, Andy, actually. And while I'm doing that, I'm just going to share my screen back at the same time, because I don't think I've got anything more for you to demo. So the first question was from Andy, around the historic cups showing. And I think Lee's come back to you to say that we have noticed there's an issue. We are fixing them where we spot them, but a full fix will be coming live in the next couple of weeks or so. So those cups that have been created 2-3 years ago that were coming across for some weird reason will stop coming across in the next couple of weeks when that release goes live. And we had a question from Christy in terms of will full-time reflect last season's setup. So the answer is basically yes. If you've blocked, so I think the point John made is if you've blocked a team admin from changing a fixture status from last season, that will remain in this season as well. So you won't have to set all that up again. So there then the questions are really sore. I'm going to, because I'm conscious of time and I want to finish on time for the people that have joined. Andy, in terms of like support and where people can find further information and this recording, do you want to just talk through this slide?
Yep, so as with all our portals, we've got our knowledge base, which is the website on the page there, grassrootstechnology.thefa.com. That's got a load of guidance documents on for full-time and all of our other systems and portals, including Matchday. And there's an option at the top of there to submit a ticket through to the service desk, where John, myself, Jatin and Anisha will be able to support you, along with the 5 temporary members of staff we've got to get us through the next couple of months. The recording for this will be on our YouTube page at Grassroots Tech Team. As soon as Sam has done probably a little bit of editing down and get that uploaded. And we've got our X, formerly Twitter, page of at FAGR which Sam kindly manages for us and will point you in the right direction, and will provide updates.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Andy. So one thing I've been around the country at the moment, visiting a lot of leagues and league forums, is that some leagues don't feel like they aren't getting the information that they should be getting, especially around our digital platforms. And one thing I will say is that the majority of our stuff goes out in our league newsletter, and that goes out on the last Friday of every month currently. That might change in the new season, but you have to be opted in to have that. If you haven't done so already, if you just go to myaccount.thefa.com, you can go and opt in, and you can select what you opt into as well. So if you only want to know about league stuff, you can just opt in to league stuff. If you want to know league, club, player, everything, you can opt into everything. It's up to you. We will not bombard you with emails, I can assure you that. but if you go to our page, I think John's going to put that in the chat for me, which is the number of emails that we do send and what you can opt into. And there's just a flavour on the screen. So we've got our League and Clubs newsletter. We've got our if you're an adult league and you put your stats into full time, your players will get what we call the Nike rewards. So if they played 10 games, 20 games, 30 games, they will get discount codes from Nike, and they will get bigger as the more games they play. Also, they will also get their stats in an email as well, so they can see how they're performing against their teammates and across their league that they play in as well. There's the My England Football memberships, and the one that's missing from there, which we also do have, is the Parent and Carer newsletter now. So if you, and also the Player newsletter, which is much more about the playing opportunities for either your children or the kids you're looking after, or you as yourself as a player, and what is relevant to you in that role. So if you want to opt in, we go to mycamp.thefa.com, but hopefully John will share that in the chat, which was it's englandfootball.com, and it will just show you the different emails you can get in. But that's where you'll get all the information from us. It's just hard to get to people these days with current GDPR guidance when you aren't opted in. So all that's left for me to say is thank you to you all for joining the call this evening. It's been a real pleasure to have you. We hope you found the evening interesting. As Andy said, there are plenty of other different videos and guidance articles on our knowledge base at grassrootstechnology.thefa.com. So please do use those if you need them. This recording, as Andy said, will be on YouTube in the next 24 hours. So please keep an eye out for that, and feel free to share that with your wider colleagues across your league networks. And finally, a big thank you from me to Andy, to Lee, to John and to Jatin, who've helped us out in the chat into answering your questions. Hopefully you've had all your questions answered. If not, just please do go to grassrootstechnology.thefa.com, put your question into a ticket, and we will happily come back to you. All that's left for me to say is thank you so much for joining. Hope you found it useful, and I'm sure we'll see you all across the season. But if not, enjoy the rest of your season, and we will speak to you all very soon. Thank you very much.